Welcome to Spicy Ladies, where ancient philosophy meets the modern world. Have you ever wondered why deeply thoughtful, independent women move so differently from the rest? Here's the real answer. They're not trying to be different. It's just who they are. When no one's watching, Sigma females didn't wake up one morning and decide to act unique. They didn't shape their identity from books or trends. They became who they are by going through hard times, thinking deeply about life, noticing patterns others miss, and choosing not to let the world water them down. They act differently because they are different, not in a flashy, showy way, but in a quiet, powerful way built through years of inner growth, quiet pain, and a strong desire to stay true to themselves. They don't need to make noise about it. They don't chase attention. But when they walk into a room, you can feel something shift. They carry a sense of calm confidence, depth, and a quiet strength that refuses to shrink or change to fit in. And maybe, just maybe, that's you. Maybe you've never fit neatly into the roles you were handed. The nice one, the easygoing one, the people pleaser. Maybe you've always asked questions while others just went along. Maybe you've been called too much or made to feel like your honesty or insight was a problem. But here's something important to remember. You are not broken. You're not too intense or too anything. You're just a Sigma female, a type of woman the world still hasn't fully understood. And that's perfectly okay. You don't need to be put in a box. You just need to keep being real, even when it feels lonely, even when no one gets it. So don't stop questioning. Don't stop noticing. Don't stop honoring that strong, wise, and independent mind of yours. Your uniqueness isn't a weakness, it's your greatest gift. And if something in this message connects with you, take this as a sign. Watch the rest, not to feel seen, but to remind yourself you're not walking alone. There's strength in knowing there are others like you out there. Before we dive in, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like on this video. Thanks. People often assume that Sigma women try to be different on purpose, but that's not true. They're not doing it for attention or to rebel. They're just being honest. In a world where most people are trying hard to be liked, they don't pick outfits to shock others. They don't talk in strange ways to seem deep. They don't avoid group chats to look mysterious. It's simply that pretending doesn't come naturally to them. While others rehearse what to say or how to act to be accepted, Sigma females show up as they are, real, raw, and present. And that can make others uncomfortable. Why? Because society doesn't know where to place women like this. They're too bold to be passive, too quiet to be loud, too thoughtful to act on emotions alone, and too aware to be tricked. So people give them labels: cold, too serious, intimidating, weird. But really, that's just a way of saying she doesn't follow the rules we're used to. Sigma women weren't made to blend in. They were made to notice what others ignore. They don't look for applause or wear their intelligence like a medal, but behind their calm expression is a mind that sees everything, always learning, always thinking. They're not trying to be different. Most of the time, they'd rather just live in peace. But in a world full of filters, trends, and surface-level fakeness, being real will always stand out, even if you never wanted to. So if you've ever been made to feel like you don't belong just for being yourself, remember this: you are not the problem. You are proof that truth still lives in people, and the world isn't always ready for that. But that's okay. Keep being who you are. That difference is your quiet power. Sigma females don't pretend not to care what people think. They actually don't, not because they think they're better, but because they've already gone through that phase. They've asked the big questions, looked around at the world, and realized most people are chasing things that don't really matter. While others were busy fitting in or keeping up with the latest trends, the Sigma female stood at a quiet distance, watching it all with a feeling of disconnect. Being popular, joining every trend, trying to belong. It all felt like too much effort for something that gave so little in return. She saw the game for what it was: constant approval seeking, fake smiles, and losing pieces of yourself just to feel accepted. So, without a big announcement, she quietly stepped away. No drama, no long goodbye. She just stopped playing the game she never believed in. And once you stop playing, there's no reason to return. Now, some people think she's distant or too independent, but what they don't see is this: they just can't control her. She doesn't need to be liked. She's not afraid of being alone. She's not hooked on being seen, because once you stop needing the crowd, you start hearing your own voice again. You begin making choices based on what feels right, not what looks impressive or earns fake praise. So if you ever felt like you left the crowd behind and wondered if it was the wrong move, don't second guess yourself. You're not lost. You're finally on your path. Stay there. That's where your true strength lives. Sigma females aren't interested in fighting to be at the top or trying to win attention. While others rush to get more followers, more likes, or more praise, Sigma women choose to stay in the background, quietly watching and learning. They're not being shy. They're just thinking deeply. They don't want to play the same social games that exhaust everyone else. Competing for status or trying to prove they're important isn't their goal. Instead, they step back and watch carefully. They notice who's putting on a show, who's pretending to be confident, and who's trying to control others. They don't get caught in that mess. Instead of running after titles or fame, they ask important questions. Who made these rules? Who really benefits from this game? And is this even something I want? That clear thinking sets them apart. Sigma females aren't afraid to join in, but they see that the prize isn't worth their energy. Recognition, power, or approval might excite others, but Sigma women value something else: freedom. When they choose not to play, they become harder to manipulate. No one can pull their strings because they're not even in the game. That's why some people feel uneasy around them. You can't beat someone who's not even trying to win. While others are drained from chasing attention, Sigma females are focused on building something lasting and true. Something that doesn't need praise to matter. They don't want to win someone else's game. They'd rather build a world of their own, quietly and confidently. Once you reach this mindset, you stop needing approval. You stop running after noise. Instead, you create something meaningful. Sigma females don't walk into a room needing everyone to know how smart they are. They don't need to talk the loudest or prove they know more. Their power isn't loud. It's calm, quiet, and thoughtful. They listen more than they speak. They pick up on every small clue in a conversation, the things others miss. But they don't jump in just to show off. They wait, think, and speak only when needed. And when they do, it's sharp, clear, and right to the point. Most people misunderstand them. They think being quiet means not knowing much. But that's a big mistake. Sigma females see through things quickly. They notice patterns, lies, and changes in tone. And even when you think you've hidden something, they've likely already figured it out. But they won't reveal everything they know. If they open up and share their thoughts, it means you've earned their trust. They don't give people access to their minds just because they're asked. It's something you have to earn. While others try hard to impress or get praise, Sigma females are focused on learning and staying ahead without needing attention for it. If you ever get to see their full brilliance, know this: it wasn't for show. It was on purpose, and it meant something. Real power doesn't make noise. It's just felt, even when nothing is said. Sigma females don't put anyone on a pedestal, not a celebrity, not a teacher, not a friend, and not even someone they love. They can admire someone's skills or respect their work, but they won't blindly follow or worship anyone. Why? Because putting someone too high makes you stop thinking clearly. You stop seeing their flaws. Sigma females know that everyone makes mistakes, no matter how great they seem. So instead of giving someone all their trust from the start, they observe carefully, quietly. They listen to what people say, but they also watch what they do. They notice how someone acts when no one is watching. And if things don't match, if someone says one thing but does another, they take note. They don't fall for charm or good looks. They trust actions over words. And in relationships, they stay grounded. They love deeply, but they don't lose themselves. If something feels wrong, they'll talk about it. If someone crosses a line, they'll walk away, no matter how close the bond is. Their loyalty is earned through truth, not emotion alone. That's why they're hard to fool. You can't win them over with status or flattery. You can't guilt trip them or charm your way in. They'll smile, nod, and still keep their mental space strong. They don't blindly follow leaders. They observe them. And if the words stop matching the actions, they'll leave without making a scene. Their loyalty isn't automatic. It's based on honesty and consistency. Anything fake, they'll spot quickly and quietly move on. Sigma females feel emotions like everyone else, sometimes even more strongly. But here's what makes them different. They don't let their feelings take control. Instead, they see emotions as helpful signs, like clues in a mystery, something to notice and think about, but not something that should tell them what to do right away. Most people either get overwhelmed by emotions or try to block them out completely. Sigma females take a wiser path. They pay attention to how they feel, but they don't act right away. If something doesn't feel right, they don't instantly cry or get mad. They pause. They take a step back and ask themselves, what's really going on? Why do I feel this way? Is this emotion showing me the truth, or just pointing to something deeper? They understand that feelings can be tricky. You might feel rejected, but maybe you're really being protected. You might feel angry, but maybe you're actually hurt. You might feel afraid when all you need is clarity. That's why Sigma females don't follow their emotions like orders. They use their brains, too. They think things through before making a move. This doesn't mean they're cold or distant. Actually, they're very in touch with their emotions. But instead of acting on impulse, they let their emotional wisdom guide them with care. They won't ruin a friendship just because they're upset. They won't beg for love just because they feel lonely. They'll sit with the emotion, try to understand it, and make a calm decision once their mind is clear. That's what makes them so strong during chaos. They stay steady when things get tough, and it's hard for anyone to mess with their emotions. You can't easily control someone who understands their feelings better than anyone else. That's the quiet power of a Sigma female. She doesn't react. She responds with calm, with thought, and with strength. She doesn't push emotions away. She studies them, learns from them, and uses them wisely. Sigma females don't always say much, but they're always watching. They're not loud or dramatic. Instead, they watch quietly, picking up on things others miss. Here's something most people never notice. Sigma females are always testing others, but not in a sneaky or mean way. They just want to know who's real and who's fake. They won't tell you it's a test. They'll simply say something a little deeper than usual, or share a small personal detail to see how you react. Sometimes they'll go quiet on purpose just to see if you check in or if you only care when they're giving you attention. These aren't mind games. These are ways to see people's true colors. And honestly, a lot of people fail without realizing it. Why? Because Sigma females don't care about sweet talk, loud energy, or fake charm. They watch how you treat others. They notice if your actions match your words. They look for honesty, not show-offs. They give you little signs, like emotional check-ins or meaningful questions, and how you respond tells them everything they need to know. If you brush it off, fake your way through, or try too hard to be liked, they see it. They might smile and keep talking, but deep down, they've already decided whether or not they can trust you. They're not judging. They're protecting themselves because they don't let just anyone get close. They choose people based on truth, not noise. So if a Sigma female pulls away from you, don't be upset. The test already happened, and your reaction told her more than your words ever could. Sigma females don't play the role of the nice girl. They won't make themselves smaller, say sorry all the time, or pretend to agree just to keep others happy. And honestly, the world doesn't like that. From a young age, girls are taught to be sweet, quiet, and easy to deal with. Smile more. Don't speak too strongly. Don't be too much. But Sigma females see that for what it really is. Rules made to keep women quiet and easy to control. And they refuse to follow those rules. They speak their truth. They say no without guilt. They have clear limits. They won't fake agreement or stay silent just to avoid conflict. And that makes people uncomfortable. Suddenly, they're labeled cold, difficult, or arrogant just because they don't play small. But here's the truth. Sigma females aren't cold. They're honest. They're not mean. They're just done pretending. And they're not full of themselves. They just know what they're worth and won't lower their standards just to fit in. Still, they do face pushback. People may try to shame them, guilt trip them, or make them feel bad for being strong. But Sigma females stay true to who they are. They've outgrown the need to be liked by everyone. They understand that some people will never accept them, and that's okay. They're not trying to rebel. They're just done living a lie. And if that means some people won't understand them, so be it. Because they'd rather be seen as too much than pretend to be something they're not. And that level of honesty, that loyalty to their true self, that's rare. That's powerful. That's what makes them unforgettable. Sigma females are often misunderstood. Some say they're too serious, too bold, or hard to be around. But the truth is, they're not trying to make things harder for anyone. They're just trying to stay true to who they are. In a world that constantly asks them to tone it down, everywhere they go, they feel pressure to be softer, to be less direct because honesty can scare people. Pressure to step back and let others take the lead. Pressure to smile, agree, entertain, and make others feel comfortable, even when it feels fake. But women like Sigma females see right through that. To them, that kind of pressure chips away at their identity a little bit every day, and they refuse to let that happen. They're not being rude. They're not trying to rebel just for the sake of it. They simply know how much it costs to lose themselves, and they're not willing to pay that price. They've put in the hard work to think clearly, to trust their inner voice, and to stay strong. That's why they won't pretend to be less smart, less deep, or less direct just to make others feel okay. They won't lie to make people comfortable, and they won't shrink to make others feel big. Yes, that can make people uneasy. It goes against the usual image society has for women. But Sigma females aren't here to fit in. They're here to live fully. So if some people call them intense, that's fine. If it means walking alone sometimes, they'll do it because what they're guarding isn't pride. It's their truth. And once you've tasted the strength that comes from being fully yourself, there's no turning back. They're not being hard to deal with. They're just clear, honest, and whole. And that's what makes them impossible to forget. Sigma females aren't the type to join every girl group just to look good on social media. They're not into pretending to be best friends with people they barely trust. You know the kind of group, everyone acts friendly, but it's full of fake smiles, hidden competition, and silent rules about how to behave. That's not for them. They don't connect with people just because they're the same gender. For Sigma females, connection comes from honesty, shared values, and mutual respect, not matching outfits or fake bonding in group chats. It's not that they're cold or unfriendly. They just can't fake things. They won't laugh at something that's not funny. They won't pretend to agree just to keep the peace. They won't cheer for someone they don't trust. And they won't force excitement just to be part of the crowd. To them, real loyalty isn't about always showing up or joining every event. It's about being real, being consistent, and being trustworthy. If that means they have to stand alone, they'll do it with confidence. This is what makes them hard to approach for some and magnetic to others, because when they do connect with someone, it's deep, loyal, and honest. But that kind of bond takes time. It doesn't happen over coffee or just because you follow each other online. It happens through realness. They're not against female friendship. They're just not here for pretend relationships. If you want surface level support, look elsewhere. But if you're genuine and open to real connection, then maybe, just maybe, you'll earn a place beside them. Sigma females don't just accept things because they're winning. Most people stop asking questions once they're getting benefits. They ride the wave and stay quiet. But Sigma women are different. That's when they start asking, why is this even happening? Who created these rules? Who's being left out? It's not that they want to be difficult. It's that they want to understand things fully. They're not just playing the game. They're studying the entire board. They want to know why the game exists, who's controlling it, and who's being ignored because of it. If someone praises them for being quiet, they'll wonder, why is being silent more like them being honest? If they're rewarded for following the crowd, they'll ask, who made that path, and what's at the end of it? Even if they're treated better because of how they look or how smart they are, they won't stop there. They'll ask deeper questions. That's why Sigma females rarely get stuck in comfort. They're always checking for hidden costs, emotional, moral, or mental. They don't want to blindly benefit from a system if it's unfair or empty. They'll walk away from things that others dream of, titles, relationships, big roles, if those things feel fake. They don't care how shiny something looks on the outside. If it doesn't feel right on the inside, they'll leave it behind. They question the world, and they also question themselves. That's not weakness. That's real strength. That's why their minds work differently. That's why they move differently. Sigma females don't walk into spaces trying to fit in. They don't shapeshift, shrink, or stretch just to feel accepted. Fitting in has never been their goal. Belonging is important, but only if it's real. They've learned, sometimes the hard way, that pretending to belong just makes you lonelier in the end. So they stop begging to be invited. They stop trying to earn space in rooms that don't recognize their value. Instead, they build their own space, a life that feels right, a mindset that feels safe, a vibe that feels like home. Even if they have to walk it alone for a while, they don't need a crowd to feel confident. They don't need constant company to feel whole. And if the price of fake belonging is abandoning their truth, they'll pass every time. Because real belonging starts inside, and Sigma females know that if they stay true to themselves, the right people will find them. And when they do, it won't be about fitting in. It'll be about being seen fully and honestly, without having to change a thing. In a society obsessed with speed, quick likes, fast wins, and instant validation, Sigma females move differently. They're not rushing to prove themselves. They're not caught in the race. They value depth over speed, process over pressure, and meaning over momentum. They take their time with decisions, with emotions, with people, and that confuses those who expect fast answers, quick reactions, or easy access. But Sigma females are not built for burnout. They move with purpose, not panic. While others chase what's trendy, they seek what's true. While others post every move, they protect their peace. And while others try to keep up, they slow down just enough to think, to feel, to know. Because rushing leads to regrets, and they've already done the work to know that patience builds what speed can't, something solid. So yes, they may seem slow to open up, slow to speak, slow to jump in, but trust this, every step is intentional. Every pause is power. Because when you're not afraid to slow down, you start seeing what everyone else is too busy to notice. And that's the secret to the Sigma female's steady, silent success. Sigma females didn't wake up one day and decide to be unique just for fun. They didn't copy anyone's path or build a fake personality. They became this way through struggle, silence, reflection, and a strong desire to stay true to themselves. They've faced hard moments. They've had to choose truth over comfort. They've had to grow without applause and walk alone without fear. They don't need to shout who they are. You feel it when they walk in, that deep sense of calm confidence and strength that says, I'm not here to impress. I'm here to be me. And maybe you felt that way, too. Like you can't play the usual roles, always smiling, always agreeing, always putting others first. Maybe you felt different, too honest, too aware, too much. Here's the truth, you're not too anything. You're just a Sigma female in a world that hasn't figured you out yet. And that's okay. You don't need their labels. You just need to keep showing up as yourself, bold, thoughtful, and real. Keep asking questions. Keep paying attention. Keep protecting that strong and independent spirit inside you, because your difference isn't something to hide. It's what makes you powerful. If any of this felt familiar, then don't stop here. Keep going, not for approval, but because being true to yourself is the strongest thing you can be. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, then please show your love by dropping a like on this video and subscribing for more daily content like this. Click on the videos on screen to learn more about the world of Sigma females. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, see you in our next video.